Hello class 9, this is part 2 video of lesson water. In last video we have covered introduction and physical properties of water. Today we'll cover only chemical properties of water. First of all, chemical property is a characteristic of a substances that is observed during a chemical reaction in which the composition or identity of the substances changes. So let's start. First is nature. Pure water is neutral to litmus solution. There is no change in color of blue or red litmus solution as it has neutral pH which has value 7. Next is stability. Water is quite a stable compound. It does not decompose into its constituent, but at high temperature, that is temperature above 2000 degrees Celsius, water decomposes to form hydrogen and oxygen. Third is catalytic activity. A catalyst is a substance that speeds up a chemical reaction but is not consumed by the reaction. So water acts as a catalyst too. Examples are water acts as catalyst in the form of moisture in the synthesis of hydrogen chloride. Another example is combustion or burning of phosphorus to form phosphorus pentoxide. Next property is reaction with metals. Generally, metals react with water to form metal oxide and hydrogen gas. But metal oxide, being soluble in water, further dissolves in it to form metal hydroxide. So overall, metal reacts with water to form metal hydroxide. Like potassium reacts vigorously with water and instantly catches fire and burns with a lilac flame. So the reaction between potassium and water is explosive and vigorous in nature. In this reaction, potassium is an elemental form which will displace H plus ion from water to form potassium hydroxide. Now let's look at the action of water on sodium. This reaction is less vigorous than potassium. It burns with a golden yellow flame. This reaction is also exothermic in nature. In this reaction, sodium is also in an elemental form which will displace H plus ion from water to give sodium hydroxide. Similarly, in case of calcium with water, you see bubbles of gases forming which can be collected. The reaction is not at all vigorous like in case of sodium and potassium, but it also forms corresponding hydroxide, that is calcium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Let's look at the action of steam on metals. There are some metals which do not react with cold water. For the action of water on these metals, water has to be in gaseous form. That is, we need intense condition. We need steam. Example, magnesium. We have apparatus here. Inside this apparatus, there is a magnesium strip and there is a cotton wool soaked with water. We give some heat. The steam reacts with magnesium strip to give dazzling white flame and the hydrogen gas is ignited. The reaction is magnesium reacts with steam to give magnesium oxide and hydrogen gas. Overall, when metal reacts with steam, it forms corresponding metal oxide and hydrogen gas. Some of the other examples are aluminium reacts with steam to give aluminium oxide and hydrogen gas. Zinc reacts with steam to give zinc oxide and hydrogen gas. Iron reacts with water to form iron 3 oxide and hydrogen gas, which is also a reversible reaction. Next is reaction with nonmetals. First, reaction with carbon. When steam is passed over red hot coke, that is carbon, water gas is formed. Water gas is a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen gas, which is an important industrial fuel. Another example is reaction with chlorine. When chlorine gas is bubbled through water in the presence of diffused sunlight, hydrochloric acid and hypochlorous acid are formed. Action of water on the metallic oxide. Metallic oxides reacts with water to form corresponding hydroxide or alkalis. Example, sodium oxide reacts with water to form sodium hydroxide. Potassium oxide reacts with water to form potassium hydroxide. Calcium oxide reacts with water to form calcium hydroxide. Note that all metal oxides are basic in nature. And when we talk about non-metallic oxide reacts with water to form corresponding acids. Like carbon dioxide reacts with water to form carbonic acid. Sulfur dioxide reacts with water to form sulfurous acid. Sulfur trioxide reacts with water to form sulfuric acid. Note that all non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Another property is reaction with calcium carbide. Calcium carbide reacts with water to form a milky white solution, which is calcium hydroxide, and gas is released which catches fire easily, that is acetylene gas. Similarly, in case of aluminum carbide, when reacts with water, it forms aluminum hydroxide, and instead of acetylene gas, it forms methane gas, which catches fire easily. Next is reaction with nitride. Calcium nitride and magnesium nitride reacts with water to form corresponding metal hydroxide and ammonia gas. That is, if calcium nitride reacts with water, it forms calcium hydroxide and ammonia gas. Similarly, if magnesium nitride reacts with water to form magnesium hydroxide and ammonia gas. Another property is reaction with noble gases and noble elements. Noble metals such as gold, silver, platinum, and noble gases such as helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon are virtually inactive to water. Next property, reaction of water with phosphide. Metal phosphide, when reacts with water to form corresponding metal hydroxide and a colorless, flammable, toxic gas, phosphine is released. Example here, calcium phosphide reacts with water to give calcium hydroxide and phosphine gas. Similarly, when metal hydride reacts with water, it forms metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Here calcium hydride reacts with water to form calcium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. So these are all about chemical properties of water. So your assignment is question number 1. A fish dies if placed in water which has been boiled and then allowed to cool. Explain. Number 2 is give only equations for the following conversion using water as one of the reactant. That means you have to convert calcium to calcium hydroxide using water, potassium to potassium hydroxide using water. Number 3 question is give reasons. The density of water is maximum at 4 degrees Celsius and the burn caused by steam at 100 degrees Celsius is more painful than burn caused by water at 100 degrees Celsius. So thank you. This much for today.